you take it? He was the swamp fox. So 40 out of 80 for Springbrook on the back half of the four corners, leaving looking at literature for JFK. Robert Bolt's stage play, later an Academy Award-winning film, details the real-life historical conflicts between Sir Thomas More and what English sovereign who would eventually marry 6 times?
Henry VIII.
Good for 20. For another 20, we note that the 1942 Pulitzer Prize for History went to Paul Revere and the World He Lived In, written by what author who would fictionalize much of that part of history in her classic children's tale, Johnny Tremaine? Can you take it? Esther Forbes, the answer there. Tell me now the name of the 18th century English poet noted for his mastery of rhyming couplets in works like The Rape of the Lock, The Dunciad, Essay on Criticism, and Essay on Man. That was Alexander Pope, and we close out this category looking at literature as we note that the Italian writer Carlo Collodi is often best remembered today for his creation of what fictional title character, a wooden puppet created by the woodcarver Geppetto that comes magically to life.
Pinocchio.
So 40 out of 80 for John F. Kennedy on the second part of the four corners. With that correct response, we're out of our first period of play, and here we are in the first of our 3 competitive rounds, the 10-point toss-up round. Players, you'll need your handheld indicators now as you buzz in on each of the questions in this round. You'll earn 10 points for a correct response. No penalty for an incorrect response, but the question now completed flipped over to the second team for a chance at those 10 toss-up points. As we start the first of our 3 competitive rounds, a quick check of the score shows Springbrook 100, John F. Kennedy just off the pace at 80. We open the scoring with this 10-pointer up for grabs on 14-letter words. What 14-letter word, derived from the name of a governor who later became vice president under James Madison, today means the act of creating wildly shaped election districts?
Springbrook, Goodall.
Gerrymandering.
Good for 10 points for gerrymandering on the good buzz. Up next, a 10-pointer on history timeline as you identify the single decade in which these 3 events all occurred. James Cook begins a voyage that will make him the second Englishman to circumnavigate the globe. The British Parliament passes the Stamp Act for taxing the American colonies. The French and Indian War ends with the Treaty of Paris.
Springbrook, Feister.
1760s.
Is correct for 10 points. For 10 points on famous philately, try this. The first time an English commoner ever appeared on a British postage stamp was in 1964, as Great Britain celebrated the 400th anniversary of the birth of what Bard of Avon, noted for such works?
Springbrook, French.
Shakespeare.
It is William Shakespeare, noted for works like Othello and Hamlet, the rest of that question. To the monitor players, for the first of our visual questions, this 10-pointer on biology. Of the choices you see here, which is an organism that moves by the interaction of muscles and chitinous appendages?
Springbrook, Goodall.
Grasshopper.
It is the grasshopper, good for 10 points for Springbrook. Pencil and paper at the ready, players, for this 10-point matching question on American cities as you match these 4 cities to the state in which each is found. First, the 4 cities. Davenport, Olympia, Greensboro, Bangor. Here come the states. North Carolina, Maine, Iowa, Washington State.
Springbrook, Feister.
Davenport, Iowa. Olympia, Washington. Greensboro, North Carolina. Bangor, Maine.
Is correct for 10 points. Name's the same, the topic for our next up for grabs players. What same last name is shared by these 2 men? Edward penned the noted 19th century fictional work, The Man Without a Country. Nathan was a Connecticut schoolteacher hanged by?
Springbrook, French.
Hale.
It was Hale, Nathan Hale and Edward Hale. We're halfway through the round with that correct response. A quick check of the score. Springbrook 160, JFK 80. Here comes a 10-point question on same word, different contexts. What same 7-letter word is common to these 3 contexts? It names a kind of large white or yellow onion. It names a kind of short pants that extend down just above the knee. It names the Atlantic island with capital at Hamilton.
Springbrook, French.
Bermuda.
Good for 10 points for Bermuda. Pencil and paper at the ready, players. We head back to the monitor for this question on math. What is the radius of the circle defined by this equation?
Kennedy, Bernstein.
Route 5.
Route 5 is correct, 10 points for Kennedy. For 10 points on world geography, we note that 3 of the world's 6 largest islands, New Guinea, Borneo, and Sumatra, are all part of what Asian archipelago nation?
Springbrook, Goodall.
Indonesia.
It is Indonesia, good for 10. 10 points awaits the team with a correct answer to this question on obituary page 2003. Among the most notable athletes to die in the year 2003 was what swimmer, who in 1926 at the age of 19 became the first female to swim the English Channel as she posted a time?
Springbrook, French.
Gertrude Ederle.
It was Gertrude Ederle, good for 10 points. Check your buzzer speed, players, with this question on female firsts for 10 points, as we note that Nellie T. Ross in 1925 became the first ever woman governor in the U.S. when she was sworn into the top job in what state, where one today could visit cities like Jackson Hole, Casper.
Springbrook, Goodall.
Wyoming.
It is Wyoming, and here's the final question of the first half, our last 10-pointer, this one on super scientists. What 18th century English chemist is credited with discovering 9 different gases, including nitrogen, sulfur dioxide, and laughing gas, and is also given credit for co-discovering oxygen with Swedish scientist Carl Scaly?
Kennedy, Barthold.
Noble.
Is incorrect. Question's complete. Springbrook, can you take it on the rebound?
Springbrook, Goodall.
Lavoisier.
It was Joseph Priestley, so no points for either team on our final toss-up of the first half. This brings us to halftime of Quizmaster Challenge. As is our custom, let's take a moment to meet each of the young scholars in this first-round match, beginning with our lower deck team, Springbrook and Mr. Feister.
Hi, I'm Steve Feister. I'd like to thank our coach, Dr. Ryan, for supporting us all year.
Thank you. Up next, the captain of the squad, Ms. French.
Hi, I'm Esther French. I'd also like to thank our coach and my other teammates.
Thank you. Here's Ms. Gonzalez.
Hi, I'm Jessica Gonzalez, and I run cross country, and I'd like to thank our coach and all our supporters.
And the anchor of the squad, Ms. Goodall.
Hi, it's Ellen, and I'd like to thank Dr. Ryan, I guess.
Okay, up top now to John F. Kennedy High School. First, Mr. Barthold.
Hey, I'm Ross Barthold. I'm a 17-year-old senior at Kennedy High.
Up next, the captain, Ms. Solomon.
Hi, I'm Rachel Solomon and also a 17-year-old senior at Kennedy.
Thank you, Ms. Bernstein.
I'm Julia Bernstein, and I'm also a 17-year-old senior.
And the anchor of the squad, Mr. Musicant.
I'm Jonathan Musicant, and I'm also a 17-year-old senior.
Okay, before we start the second half, players, let me thank some people as well. As always, the television production students here at Seneca Valley High School, working under the direction of Eric Rodney. They